The moment Lena stepped outside the courtyard, pregnant Anne's belly began to ache. As her water broke, the child inside would die. The instant Lena crossed the threshold, in desperation, Jack rushed over and grabbed Lena, holding her back, for only she knew, Lena must not leave this courtyard. Should she step beyond these walls, the Zhou family line would be severed. Lena glanced at the necklace around her neck and told Ji Ke, his child is near death. Hearing this, Ji Ke was terrified. He urgently pleaded with Lena to save his child. Yet every other member of Ji Ke's household demanded Lena leave. Little did they know Lena was here to preserve their family line. For over a decade ago, the old patriarch of the Ji Ke family sought shelter from rain on the mountain. He discovered the Qilin temple leaking, and the Qilin inside was soaked, so he used his clothes to shield the Qilin from the rain. Later, the old man fell asleep inside. Unexpectedly, the Qilin girl appeared and granted him one wish. Today you shielded me from the rain, she said. Lena shall repay you with a wish. Should there be a next life, bring this bead to the temple. From that day on, the old man remembered the wish granted by the Qilin. Years later, when the old man passed away, his son brought this bead to the Qilin temple seeking protection. For the Ji family had few heirs. 8 sons had already died. If the child his wife carried now could not be saved, the Ji family would truly face extinction. So the Qilin girl Lena truly appeared and retrieved the bead from his hand, declaring she would protect the Ji family bloodline. Jack then brought her home. Just then, Jack's wife experienced fetal distress. Doctors were helpless. Feeling the child could not be saved, the old matriarch wailed and lamented, saying the Jack family line would die out. At that moment, Lena arrived and told them she could save the child. She then cast a spell upon the pregnant woman. Unexpectedly, everyone thought she intended to harm the mother and rushed to stop her. Even the doctor, who had deemed the child beyond saving, couldn't believe a little girl would make such a bold claim. Utterly preposterous. Yet the stillborn baby came back to life. From that day onward, the Jack family offered daily incense and prayers to Lena. But the recovered Anne, ungrateful as ever, convinced Lena was her husband's illegitimate daughter. She feared Lena would compete with her son for status. Thus, the sisters plotted against Lena. They deliberately served her a bowl of poison, claiming it was soup specially prepared by Jack. Little did they know Lena saw through their schemes. She overturned the poisoned bowl when she refused to drink it and lunged for a vase to smash it over Lena's head. But miraculously, the vase fell onto Anne's own head instead. Before either woman could react, Lena seized control of Lova. She made Lova dance at her command, completely beyond her own will. After the dance ended, Lova collapsed unconscious, furious, and sneered. You're young, yet full of tricks. She demanded to know what illusion Lena had used to deceive them. Lena, however, reminded her that pregnancy was no easy feat, urging her to leave quickly. She wouldn't pursue today's incident, and then berated her, calling her a bastard child, demanding to know what gave her the right to speak to her that way. She made it clear to Lena that from now on, the entire Jack household belonged to her and her son. What right did Lena have to kick her out? It was you, the bastard, who should be leaving. Seeing Lena ignore her, she tried to force Lena out by force, but Anne suddenly collapsed. The next moment, her stomach began to ache. Her cries immediately alerted the old lady, so both blamed Lena, claiming she was jealous of Anne's unborn child. They falsely accused him of pushing Anne, nearly causing her to miscarry. Hearing this, the old lady flew into a rage. She immediately ordered the butler to expel Lena. Just then, Jack arrived upon hearing the commotion. He urgently demanded they stop. He told his mother Lena couldn't leave the house, but his mother remained convinced Lena was trying to harm her grandson. Even his wife couldn't believe her husband would abandon his own child for an illegitimate daughter. Jack protested she wasn't his child. The old lady pointed at him, declaring the child in her womb was their family's only grandson. We can't let our Jack family's only heir die just because of some illegitimate daughter. Jack kept arguing that it was precisely for the family line, that he wouldn't let her go. If she left, the Jack family's bloodline would truly be severed. The old lady demanded to know what he meant by that. Jack explained he hadn't told them before because he feared scaring them, but now he had no choice but to reveal to his family that Lena was the Qilin immortal, and that he'd begged her to preserve the Jack bloodline. The child in Anne's womb was only alive because of her, yet his ignorant wife believed her husband would invent any lie to keep this illegitimate daughter, even threatening suicide and declaring she'd leave. Seeing her daughter-in-law ready to walk out, the old lady refused to accept it, determined to take charge of the Jack household, and forcibly ordered the butler to carry Lena out. Just as he was about to step out of the courtyard, Jack urgently called him back. At the same time, everyone else rushed out in pursuit. The old lady gnashed her teeth in fury at her son, believing he would abandon his own flesh and blood for the sake of an illegitimate daughter. In her rage and shame, she ordered the butler to throw Lena out immediately. At that moment, Jack shouted loudly to stop the butler, told the old lady he couldn't leave the Jack household. Lena then spoke up. Without my protection in the Jack family, your bloodline will surely die out. Are you certain you want to drive me away? Unexpectedly, and interpreted Lena's words as a curse on her son. She insisted the doctors had assured her this pregnancy was stable. How could it vanish so easily? She cursed Lena as a motherless good-for-nothing. To her shock, Jack immediately struck her across the face. This slap only deepened her belief that her husband only loved his illegitimate daughter. She felt utterly useless in this household, so she began relentlessly slapping her own belly, resolving to abort the child. At this critical moment, the old lady ordered the butler to throw Lena out immediately. Lena told the butler she could walk out herself. No need to carry her. But as soon as Lena stepped down, Loa rushed forward to push her out. The next instant, her sister's stomach began to ache. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Jack rushed over to embrace Lena, urging her to protect this child at all costs. Jack declared he knew his family had wronged Lena and offered to apologize on their behalf, begging Lena to save his child. The Jack family must not die out. He knelt before Lena, bowing repeatedly, seeing her husband kneel before an illegitimate daughter, and was furious. How could she face the world now? Yet seeing Jack's sincerity, the girl produced a box of pregnancy-preserving pills and instructed him to give them to his wife. Unexpectedly, When Jack reached for them, his wife violently knocked the box to the floor. His sister even mercilessly stomped on it with her foot. Jack yanked her away, then scrambled to gather the pills from the floor. If they weren't damaged, the child in his wife's womb might still be saved. He hurriedly gave them to his wife to take, but unexpectedly, the old woman pushed them away again. Now the last life-saving pills were destroyed too. The old woman even scolded her son for disobedience, saying, "You'd give your wife something of unknown origin." This was clearly an attempt to harm his grandson. His wife believed even more strongly that her husband had given away the Jack family's precious jewel to this illegitimate daughter. Little did she know that this jewel actually belonged to the Chelan girl. However, upon hearing that her son had given away the family heirloom, the old woman flew into a rage and insisted on retrieving it herself. At that moment, Lena warned him, "The jewel is bound to the lifeline of your Jack family's descendants. Once removed, the Jack bloodline will cease. Have you considered this carefully?" But he was too blinded by rage to think clearly. In a fit of fury, he snatched the jewel from Lena. The next instant, his daughter-in-law's belly began to throb as a golden light shot from his body. Anne's belly shrank back to normal. Thus, the old woman severed her own family line with her own hands.